Hello everyone, how are you? This is yours truly, Diabetic Cycling, and behind me you see that VeloFix logo right there. So that means only one thing. That means my mechanic Jeff is here, and that also means we have a bike build day. So let's take a look at what we have going on. Alright, so most of you guys, I assume, have seen my other video where I have unboxed the actual frame, which I lovingly call Chinarello Fogma F. It's Chinarello because it came from China, it's Fogma because it's fake dogma. So this is an interesting project that I'm doing. So Jeff has come over and he's taken a look at the frame out of the box. So what we've determined is that, well, I'm going to actually have Jeff explain to you. So Jeff, let's go over that whole thing about the low-end carbon and all that junk that you found.
Yeah, so it's just, it looks like it's a pretty standard larger weave, so it's not as like compact as some higher level carbons that you'll see on race bikes. Like Track has that OCL V800 carbon, which is a lot tighter weave, a lot stiffer, whereas this is just pretty standard weave. And you can see it has a little bit of flex, and then also you can see that the seal job on the carbon isn't necessarily as good. There's a lot of holes and things. Could be a little bit tighter.
Would you say there's a safety concern?
No, not necessarily. Just something to keep an eye on.
If I was
Being
250
exposed.
pounds, would there be a safety concern?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you had mentioned about the, so guys, when I unboxed the frame, I did not notice because it was pretty dark in my room. But what Jeff showed me was, so where there are joints in between tubing, they did paint over, so you don't see the raw carbon.
Like you can see right here.
And then even on the frame, he's showing me where they painted to basically hide the junction joints between the tubing. So that's something that I failed to point out to you. So if you look, I don't know if the camera's going to catch it, but you see right here, you see the exposed carbon, and then all of a sudden it goes to just flat black, right?
So they did paint it.
So they did paint the joint right there, which you don't see on name brand frame. So good time. So we're gonna, all right, so we're gonna be here, watch Jeff build this thing, and then we will hopefully show you this will either turn out to be a actual rideable bike, or it's gonna be a bike shaped object. Whichever one it is, DC is gonna bring it to you 100%. Stay tuned.
Most no-name bearing ever.
There's an episode that I'm gonna put out later on where I will touch on why I do not go to a local bike shop. And I was lucky enough to find Jeff through VeloFix, and me personally, it's really important that you have trust in your mechanic, because I just told Jeff the same thing, but what if I'm going down 10% gradient at bombing down at 50 miles an hour and something fails because the bike isn't mechanically sound, and that could lead to something very tragic, and I need to be able to have faith in the bike as well as that leads to having faith in mechanics. So Jeff, who's been in the industry for a long time, and he was the sole mechanic and bike builder for a very well-known brand, and that's the reason why every time I have a project, I usher Jeff out to my place, and he takes his time, and we shoot the breeze every time we do this. And this project here is especially because I don't know the integrity of the parts that we are working with. And when I say parts, I'm just talking about the frame set, because everything else is legit. We are putting the Ultegra 12-speed Di2 in there, and so we'll see how this thing goes. So there's my wisdom of the day. Build a great relationship with your mechanic. You heard it here first. Jeff, you don't seem to be very happy with that race.
It's not level. Not very level at all.
So Jeff, let's spin the crank a little bit and see what, show what the problem is.
Show some performance.
Or lack thereof. Okay, so that obviously happens because there's way too much friction being created by the bottom bracket not being aligned properly.
Just a high-low spot. You can feel it right there. And it gets really hard.
So that's obviously a problem from the frames manufacturing, where the things are not lined up properly. So Jeff, tell me what you stumbled upon.
There was just a lot of paint on the brake mounts, so we had to basically clean them off and then file out the slots where the bolts go through, so we could square up the caliper to the rotor and actually have good clearance instead of you having to properly adjust the through axle tension to get the brake caliper to line up. You should have a little bit more space in there now.
Oh, that sounds so much better.
No more rubbing. Aside from the bad shifting, like that, so much better.